With us now, Democratic Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar. Cuellar said to the effect that AOC should leave the Democratic Party. She's not a Democrat. I won't ask you if she should leave. Don't worry. The smile says it all. Is there room in the Democratic Party for Henry Cuellar, who you and I have talked for 10 plus years, believes in strong borders, safe borders, real immigration reform, fiscally, I think, pretty moderate, as you are, and Zohran Mamdani, who's now the nominee for mayor in New York, whose policies are Fidel Castro-like. Can you be in the same party?
Well, you know, you can have a big tent, but we certainly want to have different types of leaders.
This is like a three-ring circus,
well,
isn't it?
You know, it's a big tent. It is a big tent, and I've always been a big believer in the big tent. But again, who should lead the Democratic Party? I think if you look at the American electorate, you know, they're in the center. And the American public has a way that if somebody goes too far left, like Biden did on open borders, it'll swing the other way. If the Republicans go too far to the right, for example, if you want to take Medicaid away, health care, SNAP, and all that, it's going to swing the other way. Okay. The American public has a beautiful way of trying to get people back in the center.
Well, the radical center, we believe, exists. That's why people watch NewsNation. That's why you're here. We appreciate it. Are people, though, right? And I think there is an anger out there. This guy, Mamdani, really captured an anger. Are people right to be angry at the Democratic Party, the Democratic establishment, and the big donors?
Well, you know, without a doubt, you know, there are people in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party that are able to capture anger and transform that into electoral votes. Without a doubt. We've seen that on the Republican Party, and we're seeing that here. So are they able to highlight some of the problems we have out there in society? Yes. Now, when it comes to fashioning practical solutions, for example, we agree that there are problems with high costs and inflation, but his solutions, free transport, grocery run stores by the city, free giving things away, that's a little different. And I've always followed the words. I thought it was Lincoln, but maybe it was Ronald Reagan that put him. He says, you don't help the poor by tearing down the rich. You don't help a worker by tearing down businesses. You can't do that. And unfortunately, there are some folks that want to tear down the people that have been successful or the businesses instead of developing public-private partnerships.
Why do you think he's so successful in this message? Why is the energy? I don't think you can deny me this.
Without
the energy in the Democratic Party right now is on the far left. It is the socialist or social and adjacent. Why is the energy there and not with what you're talking about?
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, they've been able to capture certain platforms. You know, you mentioned Joe Rogan and I mean, in other areas, they've been able to capture something that a lot of traditional Democrats haven't been able to do that. So I think the key for the Democratic Party, can you capture some of that energy to get certain people to come out to vote, but still have a platform that is more conducive of the central?
I'm going to try something out on you because so many in the Republican establishment fought against the Tea Party and they fought against Trump, right? Just ask Jeb Bush and the 17 other Republicans who ran against him in 2016. The establishment, even in 2021, 2022, tried to take him down with Ron DeSantis. GOP ousted since Trump's rise. Paul Ryan, Liz Cheney, Mike Pence, Ben Sasse, Mitt Romney, Ron DeSantis. The list keeps going on and on. Jeb Bush, go through the whole list. That was because MAGA was a movement. You couldn't stop it. You think you guys can stop the moderate Democrats, the establishment Democrats can stop this socialist movement?
Do you think it's a movement? That's my question.
You don't think it is?
Look, what happened in New York, those were the voters. But without due respect, do you think in South Texas we really care what happened in New York City? Without due respect, I mean that very respectfully. Look, you know, in the past, I had AOC, Bernie Sanders, Jane Fonda, name everybody that you can think of spending money, raising $20+ million against me, and we won. It's a different issue. Every place is different. So, you know, is it, you know, have they been successful? Yes. They've been able to highlight what touches a lot of people, the concerns that they have, the high cost and other things. But the practical solutions, you think you can give things away? You think you can, you know, be for things that most Americans can't? Look, the party can lean a little bit to the left. But if it leans too much, the electorate is going to go against it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.